A rally held by Donald Trump in Kentucky was suddenly interrupted when a medical emergency in the crowd forced the event to pause. While the situation unfolded, critics say Trump appeared more frustrated about the interruption to his speech than concerned about the person who had collapsed behind him. For many observers, that reaction reflected what they see as a broader pattern in Trump's leadership. They point to recent events, including the deaths of several American service members during the conflict involving Israel and tensions with Iran, arguing that the administration has shown little empathy in moments of crisis. Some critics also claim the conflict has been used as a distraction from ongoing controversies tied to Jeffrey Epstein. Despite the emergency, the rally eventually continued, with Trump returning to his usual style of extended remarks. The event itself was meant to boost support for a primary challenger to Thomas Massie. At the start of the rally, Trump also used part of his speech to criticize former President Barack Obama.
So a short time ago, under a man named Sleepy Joe Biden, has anyone heard of him? Has anyone heard of him? How about Barack Hussein Obama? He went to Jesse Jackson's funeral. He spoke, and it was like a political hit job. And the family of Jesse Jackson got angry as hell at him because they understand they hated each other. You know, he was there. But I loved watching that. That was so. The family goes outside and they start screaming at him.
Why are we talking about President Obama in Kentucky? I don't know. I truly don't know. And I think it's because Donald Trump cannot separate in his brain who he's mad at when he's mad. He's in Kentucky because Thomas Massie is facing a primary challenge in which tens of millions of dollars have been spent against him by people like Elon Musk. Unsurprisingly, the Israeli billionaire Miriam Adelson, who promised Donald Trump $250 million if he ran for a third term, she's trying to get Massie booted out of his seat. But Donald Trump really can't separate Barack Obama from Thomas Massie, from Hillary Clinton, from anyone who upsets him. And so Trump, in his deranged state, just lost his mind. And it was embarrassing, but not as embarrassing as Trump praising himself with not fake stories attacking Barack Obama, but fake financial figures and talking to Jake Paul.
Look at this. $1 trillion over a period of much less, over a period of 4 years. We got $18 trillion. And Jake Paul knows what that means. $18 trillion in 11 months, because they haven't calculated the 12th month. So we have 18 trillion in 11 months. Say in a year, what difference does it make? Compared to substantially less than 1 trillion in 4 years. You would say they didn't do a good job, Jake. I didn't ask Jake who he voted for, but I don't think it was Kamala. I don't think so. I think your whole reputation would be shot if you said, oh, I voted for Kamala. That would be the end of your whole career, Jake.
Oh, no. What a scary campaign that Democrats are going to have to face from the messaging of the right. Donald Trump brought in a fake $18 trillion investment from the Gulf states and is hanging out with the failed boxer that is Jake Paul. Oh no, how are we going to out-message that? Maybe exploding gas prices, inflation for all goods, a war costing us billions that nobody wanted. The Epstein files haven't been released. Maybe that's more important. And speaking of that war, Donald Trump now has a new term from it as he sees how unpopular his war with Iran is.
We did an excursion. You know what an excursion is? We had to take a little trip to get rid of some evil, very evil people. It should have been done for 47 years. They've been killing our people.
Oh, it's an excursion. It's an excursion that we needed because our people were being killed. Donald, you're responsible actually for Americans being killed, aid service members, and you don't seem to care. You are a baseball cap because you don't care. So I don't really think you can make that claim. But this is what Donald Trump is trying to use to defeat Thomas Massie. Little Jake Paul, little bragging about fake investments, attacking Barack Obama. He really thinks that that is going to seal the deal to beat Thomas Massie, to beat him in this primary, that he's going to go and he's going to connect. He's going to connect with the people in the district. Actually, that's not what happened, because midway through the speech, a woman behind Donald Trump collapsed, and what went from there, I think will leave you unsurprised, but as always, disgusted.
Gavin Newsom, in an interview, you have a doctor in the house, please? Doctor? Yeah, take your time, please. Want to play a song?
So Trump's looking around, clearly doesn't care. She interrupted my speech. We're gonna have to stop. But what he did right after, yeah, this is just classic Trump.
Want to play a song? Do you think the people backstage are listening to me? How about Ave Maria? Well, because is going to be okay. How about putting it in right now, Ave Maria, if they are listening? Ave Maria by Pavarotti.
Well, quite frankly, could you put on my song if we have to wait for this woman? Oh, she's taking up my time. This is so sad that I can't speak. Can we at least put on my song? 'Cause we love my song. And maybe I can do a dance because there's a medical emergency happening behind me. But who really cares about that? Hopefully this woman didn't have her health care cut by me as I gave that money away to billionaires. I don't know. But can I start speaking again? Well, eventually, when the medical emergency was rectified, Donald Trump went back to rambling, and of course he returned to the topic that he was on before, attacking Governor Gavin Newsom, who is currently being threatened by Iran. So, a great time to be joking about that, Donald. And he made a joke as well about the woman behind him.
Thank you, everybody. Great job. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. We're talking about Gavin Newsom. Doesn't seem like a very good subject right now. It made that young lady not feel so good. Anyway, he admitted he has mental problems, that he's not a smart person.
First of all, Donald Trump attacking Gavin Newsom for his dyslexia and saying that we want a president who can read, when Donald Trump, who cannot read for no other reason except the fact that he can't, and he was never able to, and he's in cognitive decline. I don't really think he realizes the irony of that. And he also doesn't seem to realize how insensitive it is to be like, well, a woman passed out. I don't know if she's okay or not, but I bet she hates Gavin. Don't we hate Gavin? Well, again, let's remember Donald Trump was in Kentucky not because he wanted to go after Gavin or Barack Hussein. It's because he was there to stir up hate against his biggest adversary, Thomas Massie. And that is exactly what Donald Trump did. I wouldn't say it went too well.
Also, I'm going to say this here on camera because it's important. One of Kash Patel's staff threatened my staff with a criminal investigation if we didn't straighten up and play ball.
I was going to ask you about that, but since you brought it up, and I didn't
I'm bringing it up.
Okay, you brought it up.
I'm not someone who quickly gives credit to the MAGA movement. I still have serious reservations about figures like Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I'm definitely not rushing to praise politicians such as Lauren Boebert or Nancy Mace. Yes, Pressure from some Republicans has helped push for the release of documents connected to Jeffrey Epstein, but even that process is far from complete. Among Republicans who have challenged Donald Trump, one of the more consistent critics has been Thomas Massie. While I disagree with many of his policies, he has at least been willing to push back against Trump in ways other Republicans often avoid. That's why it's notable that Trump had to travel to Massie's district in Kentucky to support a primary challenger. Even there, some rally attendees admitted they came mainly to see Trump but still considered Massie a patriot. It suggests Trump's influence inside the Republican Party may not be as strong as he claims. If more Republicans start realizing that Trump's threats and pressure tactics don't carry the same weight anymore, it could force them to rethink their role in Congress. Lawmakers like Jamie Raskin often argue that Congress should play a stronger role in checking presidential power. And if Republicans begin to recognize the political risks tied to Trump, they may finally start acting more independently, something that could create serious challenges for Trump's control over the party.
And now Massie, he's the worst. And I don't say that. I never hit a guy like this. The guy's a boss. We call him Rand Paul Jr. He votes against everything. But at least I like Rand a little bit. Can't love a guy that votes. I got him elected twice. If I didn't endorse him, he was not going to get elected. Do you remember that? I came and I did a little rally, and Rand votes against us all the time too, but at least he's okay. I wouldn't say the greatest.
There are claims that people speaking about the Jeffrey Epstein case have faced pressure or threats from authorities under Donald Trump's administration. Critics argue that agencies like the Federal Bureau of Investigation should focus more on investigating wrongdoing rather than intimidating those raising questions, including Thomas Massie and members of his staff. Some believe accountability should apply to everyone involved, including officials such as Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, if there are allegations of obstructing justice. Even though many people disagree with Thomas Massie on policy, supporters of transparency say they respect his willingness to keep pressing these issues and believe the discussion should continue. And that's something we'll keep highlighting on this show. If you want to support that, hit the subscribe button, leave a like on the video, and if you watched until the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.